Arsenal have made a decision around Thomas Partey that is baffling. Look, I'm not going to waste any time today. We're going to get straight onto it because I want to get people's thoughts and opinions on this subject. We're also going to be speaking about the PSV game because there's definitely some interesting talking points surrounding that. Before we get into it though, very quickly, please just hit like on this video. So as I always do before these kind of match videos, I just want to ask your score prediction for tomorrow's game for Arsenal versus PSV. And if anyone's able to get it right in the breakdown video after the game, as always, I'll flash up on screen who got it correct so everyone can see how good your football knowledge is. So let me know in the comment section what's your Arsenal versus PSV score prediction. I'm getting straight onto it. Thomas Partey. Arsenal are coming out and saying they're not going to offer him a new deal. And Barcelona and PSG are now leading the race to sign him. I couldn't believe it when I saw this because, look, at times I think Thomas Partey splits opinion in the Arsenal fan base. But there's no one that can tell me that Thomas Partey isn't still one of the best central midfielders in the world. And people always say, yeah, but he's old. He's injury prone. He's 31. You're acting like he's 36 or 30. Like, this guy is 31. The injury concerns I hear and understand. But he hasn't really been injured this season. He did last season, but he wasn't the season before that. So I think it's a massive gamble if we're going into the summer transfer window, getting rid of Thomas Partey, getting rid of Jorginho. Like, all of a sudden, we're going to have a transfer window where we're just focused on signing central midfielders again. Like, genuinely, what is your thought about Arsenal not wanting to give Thomas Partey a new contract? Do you agree with this decision or do you disagree? Because like I said, for me, he's still, like, there's points of this season where you could say Thomas Partey's been Arsenal's best midfielder. Like, he's been so consistent. Like, and people will say, well, Declan Rice can play that position. Well, I understand he can, and I've actually called and said Declan Rice is maybe better at 6 than he is at 8. But for me, like, the Partey decision is one that I think we could live to regret. Because if he goes to PSG and Barcelona, this is still a player who's good enough to play in the Champions League, playing for the top teams, who's fighting for honours in their respective leagues. Like, he's not going to be going to Bolton Wanderers. He's not going to be going to a low-down team in the table like Man United or anything like. He's going to be going to a world-class team. That obviously shows the player still has the ability. So why are Arsenal not willing to offer him a contract at all? The only kind of thing I could think of is that Arsenal have maybe said, look, we're only going to offer you a 1-year deal, when Thomas Partey's not happy with that. He's at an age where he's probably going to get one big contract. Like, he's probably got one big contract left in him. If you can't offer him 3 or 4 years, then he's probably not going to sign. That's the only reason I can think of why Arsenal are kind of thinking they're not going to offer Partey a new deal, because they know he wants a long-term deal, and it's not something they're willing to do. That's like I said, that's the only thing I can think of. Let me know your guys' thoughts on Thomas Partey, because I want to speak about the PSV game as well, because there is interesting talking points surrounding this game. Like, what do you do? And it's been a conversation over the past few games. What are Arsenal going to do up front? What options can Arsenal go with to try and get the outcome that they want? Some of us were calling for Mikel Merino to be played in previous games, but are we now getting to the point where it's like, right, we tried it and it's not really working? Do we have to revert back to Raheem Sterling? Look, if I'm being honest, football at times is so cutthroat that Sterling had his chance. He wasn't good enough. Merino had his chance. Then Merino gets his chance. He's had his chance. Now he wasn't good enough. So you have to go back to Sterling. That's the fairest way. That's the way I would do it. Like, you get a chance, you either deliver and then you play the next game. Like, you have to earn your position. So to me, I play Sterling again in this game. I think that's definitely going to be a controversial take. Maybe people would still want Mikel Merino. They like what he does up there. But yeah, let me know who you would start as a striker for the Arsenal versus PSV game. Would you go with a front three of Nwaneri, Trossard and Sterling? Or would you go Trossard, Nwaneri and Mikel Merino up front? Let me know. I guess the other position is left back. We've seen Miles Lewis-Skelly come in and do brilliantly recently, but a lot of people are actually starting to say Calafiori offers things in terms of, like, in attack. Like, he marauds forward. He's a marauding left back. He does offer a bit of, I don't know, he's like a dynamo at times. He just likes to get forward, and it does give you a different outlet, a different look, a different proposition for the team to try and understand. So I would understand why people would want Calafiori to play left back. The only thing I would say is, like, he does get beaten. Like Calafiori, you can call him many things, but you can't call him 100% solid at the back. Now, I think he gets away with it a few times just because the other defenders for Arsenal are so good. But I'd probably stick with Lewis Skelly in this game. But it'll be interesting to see how the Arsenal fan base is thinking. Would you go Calafiori in this game? Would you go Miles Lewis Skelly? And in terms of a score prediction, I would... Look, it's going to be tough. We're playing away from home in the Champions League. You think of a team like PSV and you automatically think, right, can we score 3 or 4 goals? Of course I want that to happen. I think that can happen. But more realistic, if you go there and you get a 1-0 win, a 2-0 would be preferable, of course. But if you even go there and get a 1-0 win, you take a 1-0 win back to the Emirates, you're putting yourself in a massive advantage for the next game to progress to the next round and have a chance of playing Atletico or Real Madrid. So my score prediction for this game, although it's a boring prediction, I'm actually going to go just for a 1-0 win for Arsenal. Like, PSV have got some good players. In the top 10 scorers of the Eredivisie, they've got 3 players in it. So this is a team that can score goals. Like, I guess the only thing that does show is that they are willing to open up and attack teams. They're always going out, like, they are all out attack at times. So maybe that will leave gaps for this Arsenal team to expose. So, but yeah, a 1-0 or 2-0 win is great. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Arsenal. But like I said, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section. And then we're just on to the game against Man United on the weekend. We have to win this game in the Champions League. Because for me, look, I want to play Real Madrid in the next round. I'm seeing so many people, creators, media outlets saying, like, if we play Real Madrid, we're just going to get knocked out anyway. And, like, that's not my frame of mind. I want to be playing these best teams. Arsenal versus Real Madrid in the Champions League. Bring it on. Can you imagine if you beat Real Madrid, how long that would last in the memory? Like, you would... Yeah, it's just... We don't have many of those nights where we're able to look back recently and say, what a win in the Champions League. We used to have it with Henry when we went to the Bernabeu and Inter Milan and he scores a hat-trick. Like, there's so many examples of Arsenal having these great European nights, and in recent years we haven't had those nights. You need to be able to create those nights. Look, it's not the perfect scenario. We don't have a full strength team, but by that game you're going to have some of your players back, and it's good that we've got some players coming, like Ben White, for example. He's going to be available to play the game tomorrow. Do you guys go with Ben White? I'll tell you what, I'll tell you my team selection that I would go for. I would go David Raya in goal. I'd bring Ben White back at right back. I think we've missed him down that right-hand side so much. Every time Arsenal have been at their best, when you think of peak Arsenal over the past season or two, Ben White's been in that team. He's phenomenal defensively, very, very good. So athletic, getting forward, overlapping the right winger. He's just always an option, causing a nuisance in the opposition penalty area. So for me, Ben White, 100% I would start. Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis Skelly. Thomas Partey, the guy we can't afford to lose for nothing next season. Then I go Declan Rice, Odegaard, Nwaneri, Sterling, and Trossard up front. Look, is it perfect in terms of an attacking sense? No, but we're not in the position right now for it to be perfect. I still think that team is good enough to go and get the result. And it'll be interesting to see, like I said, when Ben White comes back into this team, if the dynamic changes, or if you play maybe Calafiori and Ben White together, does that dynamic change? What will happen? Like, we're looking for positives. We're looking for reasons to be optimistic, and Ben White coming back, although some people see it as a small deal because we've got Jurriën Timber playing there now, for me it's massive. I always show appreciation for Ben White, and I hope the return of Ben White in this Arsenal team kickstarts us and allows us to get to that next gear. But let me know your guys' thoughts on everything you've heard in this video in the comment section. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, like I said, do me a quick favor, just hit like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.